would like to start with a quote that is, God did not promise days without pain, laughter without sorrow, or sunshine without rain. But He did promise strength for the day and light for the way. So, today our topic of discussion is HPV and its vaccination. So, what is HPV infection and how to prevent that? How we can save our daughters, our kids from this infection, and how we can prevent further cancer development in the body. So now we will take you through the journey. What is HPV infection? How it causes cancers or any malignancy in the body, and how to prevent that, because it is an infection, it's a preventable disease, and by taking these precautions we can prevent the cervical cancer development in the body. So to start with, we have Dr. Arun Kumar Verma from us. He is principal oncologist at Max Institute of Healthcare, Corporate and West Vaishali. He will take you through us for this HPV infection. So I invite Dr. Arun Kumar Verma, and I would like to ask him from Dr. Arun that, Dr. Arun, what is human papilloma virus? We are discussing a lot of things about viruses nowadays, corona and so, but we cannot forget about these viruses also. So I would like to ask you, what is human papilloma virus?
Thank you, Dr. Tripti. As you mentioned about corona, so I think everyone is knowing what is virus at this moment of time. So we know virus is neither live issue, not it is inactive. It is a somewhat in between when it can get a infected into a live animal or anything, it become active as it behave like a organism. And when it is outside a live tissue, then it is inactive. So this type of organism is called virus. It can be many type, as you have recently word is encountered with coronavirus. Like that, this HPV is a virus which full name is human papilloma virus. It can be various type. The type means it is the genotype which having some mild variations, that because of that they have a different sign symptom, and they produce different diseases in the body. And like type HPV type 6 and 11 causes genital warts, which are growth inside our genitalia or in the skin or somewhere in body. It causes wart like growth. And other which are very serious viruses, we can call it the type 16 and type 18. The most common, this type is associated with cancer of cervix, cancer of vagina, vulva, anal canal, and oropharynx. That's why this type is one of the dangerous type of virus, because it causes cancer. Yes, Dr. Tripti.
Very nicely explained, Dr. Arun. So my next question is, after going through this virus, like if a person is infected with the HPV, how he or she will know that he or she is carrying that infection? So what are the symptoms of this HPV infection?
Yeah, mostly HPV is asymptomatic. Uh, a person may having HPV infection, but since he or she not able to develop any symptom at that moment of time, then he may unable to notice any symptom. But when this infection live for very long time, maybe years in the body, then it produces some sign and symptom. So if anyone's body is infected with the as I mentioned, the lower strains of HPV virus that they cause genital wart, and as you see in this picture, uh, just one moment, can I? Okay. You can see in the picture in the left hand, there are the wart-like growth in the area of genitalia. It can be flat, it can be raised. So these type of growth are called genital wart. But if anyone is infected with the type 16 and type 18 virus, then depending upon the site of infection, he may develop a symptom according and sign according to that. Like if it is infection in the cervical region, then that lady may have abnormal vaginal bleeding or pelvic pain or pain during sexual activity. Now, one of the new thing that is the if the oropharyngeal cancer, anyone is having HPV infection in the oropharynx, then it may produce symptom like difficulty in swallowing or change in the voice, and this type symptom is mostly due to the oropharyngeal cancer. One of the new thing is associated with HPV infection, which is coming in the literature and in we able to see in various cases in the OPD of oropharyngeal cancers. Yes, Dr. Tripti.
Nicely explained, Dr. Arun. Starting from the benign diseases like simply from the warts and leading to the symptoms pertaining to the cancer, it has a vast symptomatic presentations, and one need to identify at a one need to prevent it and identify it at an earlier stage. So, how to identify like who is at risk? What is the population like which needs to take care of such kind of infections?
Very good question. Yeah, the answer is also very simple. Everyone is at risk. Any animal or any human being in the world is at risk of this human papilloma virus infection. Uh, the thing is, if he is sexually active, that is the crux. So if a person is not developed HPV infection, then everyone is need to be vaccinated, and that person is at risk. Yes, Dr. Tripti.
I hope viruses are omnipotent and present everywhere. Like we need to take all the precautions to
Yeah.
like get away from those. How it spreads. So we know like there are various means like corona. It is a lot in a picture to prevent it by using the mask, frequent hand washing, and so many things. So what are the precautions like how it is spread and how we can prevent that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It is different from corona. This, though this is the virus, but it not spread with the droplet infection, or it not spread with the aerosols. It is spread only by the contact, the skin to skin contact. If any one infected with HPV virus and is having a wart-like growth, so that person is infective person, and yeah, if any persons having infection in the genitalia region, then that person is infective, and this skin to skin contact, like hand to hand contact, genitalia contact, yeah, hand to genitalia contact, as in this picture is shown very nicely how it is spread. It is the it is the contact which are going to cause infection, not by aerosol, not by the droplets. So uh, that it also not spread by any other meat. Unless and until one is coming in the close contact by any mean and having a skin to skin contact, then that person is likely to develop HPV infection in future. Yes, Dr.
So we need to be careful, and like skin to skin contact is the main reason for the spread. So how is it diagnosed? Like what you do to diagnose it? What are the tests for that?
So, if the diagnosis is only possible mostly when it becomes symptomatic. If patient is developing wart-like symptom, wart-like growth in the genitalia region, then we need to diagnose the HPV. And if any person is having a oropharyngeal infection or infection in the cervical region, then the screening to be done according to that. What we suspecting, if we suspecting oropharyngeal cancer, then we may need to do endoscopy and swab examination from that side. Or if we suspecting cervical cancer, then we need to do cervical screening and swab examination from that side. And then we, if we see the HPV positivity in that swab, then it means that person is having HPV infection. And sometime if there is a growth or what, then may we require biopsy from that side to confirm HPV infection in that area. Yes, Dr. Tripti.
Thank you, Dr. Arun. Nicely explained about the symptoms. Then the next question is, what is the treatment? Like if patient presents to you, what are the treatments which you offer to the patient?
HPV is a virus, mostly like other virus. It also cleared with the our own immunity process. If that person is healthy and is hygienic, then over the period it gets self cleaned with from the body. But if because of any reason the HPV stay in the body for years to years, then it may produce what like growth. It may be single. If it is single, then we need to just um, do cryotherapy, which is that means freezing of that wart with very low temperature. Uh, and this is the for that we have some machines in through as in this picture we able to see. We just touch that wart and it get freezed and disappeared over some time. If there are many warts or there is a sessile type of wart and it is multiple, then we may require laser therapy also. And sometimes this process is going to take care of that wart only, so that person may develop a new wart in future, and at that time may require the repeat this process, either cryotherapy or laser therapy to further treat that wart. But if that person is having a higher type of strain like 16 and 18 and 30, a lot of new higher version which are likely to cause the cervical and oropharyngeal cancers. In that cases, if that person developed frank cancer, then the treatment is according to that cancer and according to the stage of that cancer. Either mostly these patients are treated with the radiotherapy and chemotherapy, as you know. The such patient after treatment may require follow up. If in the if these patient is developed cancer and treated, then the follow up may be required 5 year or maybe lifelong. So that are the mostly the treatment is according to this, whether it is what, then simple treatment, maybe cryotherapy and laser therapy. If it is a cancer, then according to that. Yes, Dr. Tripti.
Thank you, Dr. Arun. Nicely explains about the
I think,
treatment. I think now
yeah.
move towards the prevention. So you'll take us through the part.
Now,
So now
yeah. Since we are discussing today on the Daughters Day, and Dr. Tripti Saxena is one of the best suitable candidate to talk about HPV vaccination, because she is dealing. She is oncologist and dealing with. She is also dealing in the female cancers, and we have worked together with him, with her for many years. Now I invite to Dr. Tripti to discuss about HPV vaccination. I think it is a very important topic. Everyone must listen her. She is going to discuss very important topic, and with that I start some question with him, with her. Uh, Dr. Tripti, is HPV vaccination is needed to prevent? Mostly the people is whenever we talk about HPV and we say okay the vaccine is available, then everyone is start thinking okay is HPV vaccine is needed to prevent it. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Arun. I think mostly quoted quote is prevention is always better than cure. So if there is a mode of prevention, then why to think for the cure? So as we all know, in the pediatric age group, there are a lot of vaccines which take care of these infections, and we can save our kids by through vaccinations. So now we have HPV vaccine available. So as you have already discussed, it is a viral infection which is sexually transmitted and causes genital wart cancer. So definitely HPV virus, and this vaccination is a safe and effective way that is available with us that can prevent us from the HPV infection. So yes, it is preventable, and
Yeah.
HPV infections can be prevented.
Yeah. Very nicely explained. HPV is preventable. Then can vaccine prevent HPV infection?
Yeah, vaccines, as we all know, all the vaccines, the method is the same, how they work. They produce antibody levels in the body, and which reaches at the site of the infection or before the infection, when there is no infection in the body, they remain circulated in the circulation in the blood with the higher antibody levels. And whenever any candidate is exposed to that particular infection, these antibodies takes care of that infection, and one may skip acquiring these infections if they are prior immunized to those those vaccines. So yes, it is preventable.
Okay, one, I think this is the very important question. Okay, we understand HPV can prevent infection, but can it also prevent cancer? Is any data about that, or what is your experience about this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think there are very few cancers which are preventable like that, and the HPV vaccine is, I would say, is champion in all that. There are more than 70% cervical cancer patients which present with the HPV infection, and if we would have taken care of that HPV infection in the earlier age, definitely there is existing data that these cancers are preventable, and definitely they can prevent the genital warts also. As discussed, they are caused by type 6 and 11, and 16 and 18 mostly causes the cervical cancers. And I would again say HPV vaccine is a cancer prevention champion and all. So if somebody asks you what can cancer is preventable, is it preventable? We always say no, it can be detected in early stage and treated, but definitely we can confidently say about cervical cancer, it is preventable. If more than 70% cases are preventable if we take care of the HPV infection, definitely it is preventable.
Okay, rightly explained. Then the next question is arise in the mind. What are the available vaccines? Are they are effective in the and if you can also say about the cost and is it commercially available, then that you can enlighten
I
about that.
got your
Yeah.
point. There are lot of things. So in the market in India, there are two vaccines which are available. One is Cervarix. That is bivalent vaccines. As you have already discussed, there are various types of like HPV strains. Cervarix takes care of HPV strains 16 and 18, which causes cervical cancer in more than 70% of cases. And the other vaccine is Gardasil, that is quadrivalent vaccine. It means it takes care of 4 strains of the HPV, that is 6, 11, 16, and 18. And so it, in addition to the prevention of the cervical cancer, it also takes care of the genital warts. So in addition to that, we have a nanovalent vaccine also that takes care of like other 5 strains also that are 31, 33, 45, 52, and 58. This vaccine is right now not available in India, but it is in the US. So it takes care of further minor strains of HPV which causes cervical cancer. So like we have Cervarix and Gardasil which can very well take care of the like HPV infection. Yes, the cost is like slightly high, that is in the range of 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. But if we consider the benefit of out of that, it always stands high in terms of benefits.
Okay, right. So
Yeah.
We recently heard about the coronavirus vaccine, and we heard a lot of side effect related to that, and then the trial are stopped. So, is these HPV vaccine is safe?
Yeah, I got your point. Like this is well-tested vaccine, and as the kids they start taking the vaccine since I think since the beginning. The first is the BCG vaccine, and then they go on, and we have always noticed there are some few common side effects, like there may be pain, redness, and the swelling at the site of injection. Like that is common with any injection, not with the particular with the vaccine. It is common with any of the injection. There may be some headache or tiredness. There may be body aches and fevers. Kids are always prescribed with a dose of crocin. If they have these symptoms, they can have that. So the common symptoms which are associated with any childhood vaccines, so these symptoms are only associated with the HPV vaccine also. There are no serious or detrimental side effects that has not been noted yet, and in the long term this is also safe. So this is completely a time tested safe vaccine, and one can have it like without any side effects.
Right. So it is safe vaccine, and but we sometimes heard it is a live vaccine or inactive vaccine. What it means is this is a live virus vaccine, like we have heard about polio vaccine. The cases, some cases are reported with the OPV vaccines. So can you say?
There are two kind of vaccines. Like one is that contains live attenuated viruses. Like they are with a minimal infectivity rate. But yes, we cannot deny with that. Like if it is live, then there are, though the percentage may be a very minimal, but that may cause infections. But this is not a live vaccine. It contains a virus-like particle. What is virus-like particle? It structurally it mimics like the body, because it's the antibody levels in the body, but it is not a live virus. These are virus-like particles which closely, we can see in the picture, these are closely resemble with the shape and everything character-wise, they resemble with the structure of a virus. So these are virus-like particles. So there is nothing to worry about that. These are completely safe vaccines in terms of considering the live or the virus-like particles.
Is these vaccination is part of our national vaccination program? Is our pediatrician is going to administer these vaccines?
So that's a very good question. Like yes, it's not a part of national immunization program, and there must be some initiatives from different bodies and the government side to include it in the national immunization program, but at present it is not included. So the vaccination given in a government setup or the primary health cares in their vaccination cards, these are not a part of the routine immunization programs, but definitely discussed you earlier also. That is why we are discussing the cost also. If it would have been in the national immunization program, then there is no point, and this vaccination will definitely be free to all. considering the benefit. But as we have discussed, considering the cost and the benefit, what the kids are going to achieve in the future, that definitely goes much above. So the different governing bodies like Federation of Gynecological Society of India and Indian Academy of Pediatricians, basically these two bodies deal with the newborns and the kids. So they have their recommendations. They say that definitely cervical cancer causes significant morbidity and mortality, and India is much leading ahead in terms of cervical cancers. So HPV vaccine should be offered to all the appropriately like selected females who can afford the vaccine. They have added this term who can afford the vaccine, because it is not available freely, because it is not a part of the national immunization program. And as you have discussed, the mode of spread is skin to skin contact. So I think if the vaccine is always to prevent, so if there is always infection lying there, it reduces its efficacy. So it should be given prior to any sexual debut. So as the mode of spread is skin to skin contact. So yes, FOXI and IAP recommends these vaccines, but it's not a part of any national immunization program.
Okay, so that means we have to ask from pediatrician to get administered this vaccine. This is optional. So then the next question is what is the schedule, when and how to administered? What are the frequency of these vaccination?
So again, there are recommendations from FOXI and IAP. FOXI is beautifully described in the charts that it should be age of initiation should be 9 to 14 years, that is prior to any sexual debut. So there are two categories. If the girl is less than 15 years of age and not immunocompromised, healthy female less than 15 years, there are 2 doses. And if the girl is more than 15 years or there is some immunocompromisation, then 3 doses is to be given. So 2 doses should be given at least 6 months interval. Maybe that interval may be 12 to 15 months, but these 2 doses to be given. And if the girl is more than 15 years, immunocompromised, then 3 doses to be given. Then what should be the schedule? In case of a bivalent vaccine, that is Cervarix, it is to be given at the 0 month, like day 0 when we give first administer the dose. Then after the 1 month, then after the 3 months. Then these are the 3 doses. So if a girl is more than 15-year-old or the immunocompromised, then the bivalent vaccine is given Cervarix, and it is to be given at 0, 1, and 6 months. If the girl is more than 15 years or the immunocompromised, and the quadrivalent, that is Gardasil, is given, that is to be given at 0 month, 2 months, and the 6 months. So 3 doses to be given. And if the girl is less than 15 years, not immunocompromised, then 2 doses of any of the bivalent or quadrivalent is good enough. And there is no need for the booster dose. These 3 doses are can take care of. There is no studies who have shown that booster dose is to be given. That may come in the future by assessing the long-term efficacy of these vaccines. At present, there are only 3 doses, and it is to be given intramuscular. This vaccine is to be given intramuscular. So this is all about the schedule. Yeah.
As you mentioned here in the previous slide, yeah, in the previous slide. You mentioned here the girls. So, is it also recommended for the boys?
So, as we are not sure, so like in India, if we talk of India, it is as per the FOXI recommendation, they have recommended it for the girls. The efficacy in the boys is not proven. But again, if we go to the US or the Australian or the European guidelines, so it is in their national immunization schedule programs, and they give all the kids, made girls, made boys, to all the school going kids, they get this vaccination in their schools only. So it is in their immunization programs, but as present it is not in India, and as per the other governing bodies like FOXI and IAP recommends for the girls only. There is not much recommendation for the boys, but definitely it gives added advantage. As we have talked about, it is causes the anal canal cancers, penile cancers, oropharyngeal cancers, which are more predisposed in the boys. Definitely it has certain benefits in boys also. So right. Everything is optional, like girls to be given and boys to be considered for this vaccination.
Right. If vaccinated, do I still need cervical cancer screening?
So,
If what is your take on this question?
so whenever we sit in the OPT, we see patients, this is always a concern for the mothers. Like if our daughters take this injection, whether they need further screening for this cervical cancer, as after 40, it is recommended to do the pap smear annually. So yes, as we have discussed, if because nanovalent vaccine is not available in India, still that takes care of only the 9 strains of HPV. We have the maximum the Gardasil that takes care of 4 strains of the HPV. So there are various other strains of HPV, and there are various other causes of cervical cancers without HPV infection that may cause cervical cancer screening. So screening is should always be there, but definitely this vaccine is efficacious and it is going to take care of 75% of patients, but we are not sure about 30% because there are various other reasons of cervical cancers not associated with the HPV infection. So screening is an essential part to take care of any cancerous or the precancerous lesion. We cannot go away with this. We can only reduce the numbers, and we can by screening we can detect it earlier.
Yeah, right.
So that's all about the HPV vaccinations. So I would say, like girl daughters on the occasion of Daughters Day, they are the one of the most beautiful gifts in the world has to give. I think we and Dr. Arun, we both have a beautiful daughters, and we cherish all the activities with them. And so it's our responsibility. It's the responsibility of the parents to save our daughters and. Always again, so the theme is on the Daughters Day. I will not like leave the boys behind. They should also be considered for this vaccination, and if there is any vaccine available that can prevent against the cancer, why wouldn't you get it for your kids? It should be given. Should be a part of the vaccination schedule, because I think in the national immunization program there is a one booster shot at the age of 10 years. That is the ideal time pediatricians recommend to consider for this HPV vaccination also, that is to be given at the age of 12 to 14 years. This vaccination schedule is to be completed, and one should even ask for the pediatrician for this vaccinations if they are not guiding you for these vaccines. You should ask for your daughters, for your boys, for this HPV vaccination that can prevent the further development of cancers in their coming future. So that is all on from us. Now I'll switch over to Dr. Arun to say last few words on this happy Daughters Day.
Thank you, Dr. Tripti, for very nice and very simple information about the HPV and its vaccination. At last, I would like to say only that HPV is the preventable virus, and HPV is the preventable infection. And with the simple few vaccines, simple few injections, maybe 2 or 3 injections, we can prevent a lot of diseases which are likely to develop in future into our child. So please ask for these vaccinations from your pediatrician. Since in India it is optional, you have to ask, you have to demand for these vaccination. Otherwise, your child may not get these vaccines. So with this, I would like to close today's session. I am Dr. Arun Kumar Verma and my colleague Dr. Tripti Saxena. These are the email ID of my and Dr. Tripti Saxena. One can any one time mail us, and we'll discuss if anyone required more information about HPV vaccination. With this, I would like to thank you all visitors, and thank you, Dr. Tripti, for nice information.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr.